All right. Hey, folks. How's everyone doing? We are on for Sunday night fights. Games have started. We got three going on so far. Thanks to David for the sign off. And yeah, we are just getting into it. We got Mitch here playing against Quirked. Definitely exciting game. We'll talk about this one in a moment. Mitch had some words to say before the match, and we'll get into it.
Some words, yeah.
And then we got some games. We got one from the Warrior round robin with two of Jesse's students, Eric and
Yeah.
Joel. That'll be fun. And then one game I think from the other group with Argos against Henry WB. And Argos I think played on the show last time. Henry I think we've seen him before. Oh Jesse, we lost your camera.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, all right.
I don't know why.
There we go.
Yeah, it should be okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Let's see. So, I guess we should start with our key matchup of the day.
Oh, okay. Which one is our key matchup?
Well, I would say Mitch versus Quirked from the Masters group.
Okay.
Mitch, of course, being the wild card. And we got a fourth game that I'm gonna open up real quick. Nice. And Mitch played Quirked in the French Brawl that we had last week,
Right.
where the players discussed the winner were. Today, though, Mitch went for the French Exchange. A big, I mean, this is like a fashion statement.
Well, actually, I'm very proud of Mitch because I think with the French exchange, you're saying I can win without any kind of deep theoretical knowledge, and that is what has been Mitch's crutch from the beginning of time. And he should know that when you're playing Quirk, you're not going to get a dull game. It doesn't matter which position you start with. And so I did a video on the exchange French being one way to slay the French player's soul, and especially against a guy like Quirk, it'll hurt them because they're not used to playing dry-ish positions, and it never actually stays dry. But if black gets a little too frisky too quick, that's basically the easy way for white to get a nice pull in the French exchange.
Yeah.
I have a request, Kosa, that maybe other people would like. Maybe we can't do this. Can you post links to the chess.com games that we're following, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I can't find them. It's really, usually I can find them just in the list of games on chess.com, but I am not finding them today.
So I just posted two of the games. And then we'll be doing this game between Eric and Joel. And game 4. Oh, and we got an H3 Nighter. Oh, that's fun. I'll be the resident specialist on this one.
So
Hey, this guy. How's it going?
okay, I got Mitch, Eric, and Argos. We got a fourth one too.
Yeah.
Which one of those is it? First, second, third? I keep clicking on it. It's not this
I
word.
think it maybe the second. It's Drew Tuck versus Rosewood.
Oh, got it. Okay, so we got 4 games.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, ladder hasn't started yet, but we'll be starting soon. We're just kind of setting up like the technical part of it with the Google Sheet.
Oh, this is okay. Yeah, which one do you want to start with? Let's game of the day.
Yeah, I'll start with Mitch.
Now,
Master
first I got to
Split.
say my game of the day is a little bit my students because they're playing each other. But this variation, we should start from here. Let's take it to the. Let me take it to the analysis board, and then we can talk about it. Move the pieces around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is exactly what the kind of thing when I said that this works well against French players. The way this worked is exactly what we want here with c4, check to the miserable king.
Let's back up a couple moves just because I got here late.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it was well, we got the French exchange, knight f3, bishop d3, c5, and then white has time for the check. Yeah.
And let me just say this move c5 is a great example of why the French exchange is deadly, because black is going to feel the need for creating a fight, and then he plays c5, and then all of a sudden he's just worse. He's not lost, but he's worse. And so, let me say, with the bishop on e7, it's going to have to move again at some point. It's not entirely happy on e7. b3 comes, very good. Knight c6, and this position I'm going to say is better for white, but I am not entirely thrilled about knight e5, 11 knight e5 that Mitch plays here. There's a lot of other moves that he could do, c4 being an obvious one, but there's other ones as well. Do you have an instant reaction to that too, Kosia, knight e5? I mean, maybe it's not terrible. It doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, it's not my first choice for sure. I mean, at least like I would definitely consider bishop a3 for white. C4, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, my guess is that he's worried about some kind of bishop g4. He wants to avoid that.
Right, and so if you're going to want to avoid it, then h3 would be a good move too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because 95, well, okay. I mean, we got all kinds of things to think about there, but my gut feeling is that part of the problem with 95 is he could just take it. Black doesn't take it though; it just develops fine.
But if he takes it on DE, where would you?
Knight e4.
Just knight e4.
Yeah. You got a nice position there. But okay, we get this thing. Bishop a3. Now, again, one of the things I felt was that the bishop on e7, because it's on the open file, it actually owes you another tempo. So bishop a3 is like cool looking from, I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to play against the dark squares, but he's also given black now a development lead here. And so queen d6, f3. I like Bork's position better. I thought Mitch, it's not a thing about the opening. Mitch did too many fancy moves here. And now after a move like c5, I'm assuming black is a little touch better because of the development.
Yeah, c5 is a little bit unpleasant, right? No, I mean, like, superficially it looks like there's a weakness on c5, but white's just not in time. If the knight was on a4, then it would be, like, totally different story, right? Then white would be doing really nicely. But here I agree with you. If black just goes c5, he's kind of just getting something really active. And it's also just awkward for white. I mean, everything is hanging, like the check, the c2 pawn.
Right.
The knight moves, then the rook starts hanging after cd.
No, white will be able to play rook a6, but it's okay. We'll just play queen c7.
Maybe knight c3 with idea like knight b5.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of things. You can do all kinds of things, but I'm just saying black has gotten a nicer position. Even if I play a lame-o move like h6, but I assume I can do better than that.
Hmm.
So I thought actually, so let me just give a pitch for people out there watching who are interested in the exchange French and just a couple basic truths. So if we get started this position with 10 knight c6, white is a little bit better, but there's obviously a lot of skill going to be involved here in proving that white has the advantage. And at some point, it's going to be to play c4, but c4 isn't the only way to play. You could try to dominate the knight on c6 with a c3 as well. So actually, right. So there's more than one way for white to try to use his advantage here, but he is going to have to be clever about it. And knight e5, yeah, that doesn't feel right to me. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
On that. And it really is like, yeah, I mean, chess is one of the beautiful things about chess, right? Is like opening, you're going to get some position like this, and yeah, you got to figure it out. Not easy. Not so easy.
Right, yeah, it's like white is slightly better, so I feel like the higher level, like no one would want this as black, right? So they don't really have to like.
I mean, it's not. We've seen worse being as black, but right,
Yeah.
Even at the higher levels, they're not going to play supercomputer moves or something. They're just going to be, I'm sure. I know from experience in a position like this, different GMs would play it differently.
Right.
This position here, some, especially the choice between what you do with your C pawn. I think that's a big question that I think different people would answer in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into my students' game, and I'll tell you a story.
Sure.
I'll tell you a story. People out there might say I'm cheating, too, or I'm doing something unethical. We'll see. So we go back to move. Let's go to move 3 for black. Let's go ahead and let's put on e5. So, I'll back up a little bit. So Joel, for whatever reason, deep in his psyche, he wanted to play this Philidor, which has been renamed the Lion because of Simon Williams. And maybe it was the Simon Williams' beard. I don't know what got Joel into this thing, but he got it into it. And, the more you play it, and I guess under his influence, I want him to be a little bit more mellow about it. And anyways, so we started fooling around with this ending variation. And at some point, I promised this already probably for months now, I'm going to do a video about an endgame repertoire for black. And this will be part of it. But a lot of his opposition has not gone into the endgame. And so I teach both these guys, and here's the unethical thing you could say I did. I told Eric that said, quote, a lot of players play, because he knew he was going to play against the filler, he just didn't know what move variation. I said, a lot of them now play e5, and if you want, you can go into the ending. And so it was kind of a setup for me to have him play this ending, which I knew that was going to happen. So both players kind of sort of knew that this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted as a coach is I wanted them to get this position with the queens off, which they did.
Right.
And then just get this dynamic ending position, which it's like a real fight now. And on move 6, white has a variety of things. And what's interesting is that at first the computer really likes white, and then it starts changing its mind.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go 6, bishop e6, castles long, knight d7, f4, and ef, and all well-played moves by Joel. And we had kind of sort of talked about this a little bit. And the interesting, let's call it inside knowledge, is that in most of these things, Black plays c6 to dominate the knight on c3 and to play king c7. And white plays f4 so that he can look at the c7 square with the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
But but the bishop is not yet committed to the pawn on c7 isn't yet committed to c6. So there's a lot of flexibility here at the moment. And Eric now plays knight g2. And we got ourselves a really good, I'm going to call it a practice ending, where both sides are going to have to make very hard choices. For example, if h6 now from black, you got to ask yourself how you want to play that position. In general, I feel though that black is fine.
Mm-hmm. So okay, yeah, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. You conned your students into playing.
I did. I conned them.
But I mean, it's fine. It's not like one side is worse or anything. It's like a very playable. I mean, it's no different than just setting them up with a training game and telling them, okay, this is going to be your starting position.
Right. And I kind of tricked them. But, the thing is, Eric, it's very unusual. I've taught a lot of kids, but it's very unusual for them to like endings. So the second I told him about the ending, he would take it.
Mm.
Despite being a puzzle rush fiend and a 1 minute fiend, he's likes playing the endings just naturally, as his natural intuition. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna get. And he's actually got more endings than either myself or any other student I've ever known to get.
So did you show him this idea with like f4 and knight g2?
No, that's all him.
Yeah, so that's really cool actually. I mean, because that's not like most 1900 kids that I have seen, they just play endgames the way they play whatever the structure they think it is. Like if they think it's a Ruy Lopez, they're just gonna play like knight f3 here and bishop b5 without like regard for what's actually happening. Or if they think it's like a perk, they might play like f3, and then that's kind of the extent of. They just do something they've done before, whereas he's actually like comes up with something that's unique for the structure and looks really interesting. Like knight is coming, like he's posing some problems to black. It's not clear how to deal with this.
My instinct is that after h6, black is completely fine. But I think the game will just go on from there. We could get a really interesting opposite color bishop ending, for example, with h6, bishop f6, gf, knight f4, bishop d6, knight e6, fe, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be fun to play. Maybe more fun for black even.
Yeah. Yeah, this knight is such a dud.
The knight is a dud. Yeah, the knight has z3. Yeah.
Yeah, that would look okay for black. So what is black going to do though? Because I mean, if let's say bishop d6, okay, h6 on the board. Never mind.
H6 on the board. Yeah. I think that's a good move. And I would struggle over this as white, because bishop f4 is totally a thought.
Yeah.
It should be easy for black to play after bishop f4, though. For example, with bishop f4, knight g4. It's kind of annoying.
Right.
And the idea is not just to do a cheap fork on f2, but at some point bring the knight back to e5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so difficult decision. I think this is did I freeze up again with my business? No, I'm fine. I think, by the way, that like this, when I think of Mitch, actually, we're gonna talk about Mitch in a second. Mitch has been making great progress, and I'm really happy he's playing different structure where theory isn't important. But this kind of position, for Mitch, no opening, just play, and you got to make a decision here between bishop f4 and bishop f6. That's real chess, that'll teach you how to play.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have a move on the board with Mitch. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it got really exciting.
Well,
potentially Quark blundered. We're about to find out. I mean, you tell me.
Well,
you tell me, Ghost. Yeah.
I mean, but like, okay, Quark spent 15 minutes on knight h5. Neil Bruce says Mitch's time management last night was pretty good. Yeah, last night Mitch played, I think, Todd, Strong Chess. I think he lost that game, but I think it was a pretty interesting one. Pretty tough fight. Okay, clearly Black is intending to sack a piece here if White goes g4. Like, that's the intention. And he spends 5 minutes on g4. I mean, it's a very responsible move, It's risky.
It's irresponsible. Well, if he's just winning, he's just winning. I mean, I don't see it yet. I got to admit, I don't see it yet. Like, for the key variation for me is queen g6, bishop g2, bishop c2, and then gh. And I'm like, oh no, gh. What do I do?
Well, yeah, I don't see anything here.
I don't see anything either. That's my grief.
Bishop g2. I mean, this is Quark. This is the guy who found in this exact same matchup that knight g3 check. And
I'm just saying, at first, I'm not seeing it. Maybe there is some there, but I just want to be upfront that if there's magic here, I don't see it yet.
Oh, bishop g2, knight f4 from Sunny.
Good move. Okay, so let's figure it out. Queen g6. Queen g6 was played. Holy moly.
But the main question for me was actually king h1, although I didn't even see bishop g2 was possible.
Yeah, king h1. So yeah, king h1 is the same idea as bishop g2, right? Just
unpinning. Yeah,
and on bishop c2 is the same gh nasty problem.
I mean, is he getting a lot of pawns with bishop d1, bishop takes f3 check?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Guess he's getting 3.
And bishop g2?
Yeah. And maybe like fg or something, I don't know.
But then your pawns aren't that cool anymore.
Yeah. It's not really the strongest 3 pawns, and White's pieces feel like pretty normal.
Yeah. And Black's pawns will be weak.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that's the idea. Let's see if there moves. Okay, queen g6, king h1.
Oh, this was played. Yeah.
So see, like both players, it's like both players are going all in, and it's like the third hand of the tournament. It's just like don't you want to just like at least consider your decision a little? This could be the game right here. Like someone could just be losing.
Yeah, it's funny. Like he did think about knight h5 for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's go back to that decision just to think about it, because well, for one, we both liked Black in that position. Just play like c5 or something, and I'll go ahead and say that a simple move like rook. Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably rook f8 is going to be good. But some move like c5, yeah, you're going to be fine. If you want to be, or h6 or h5, you're going to be fine. You're going to have your chance to attack White. You don't have to be a madman yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about knight h5, okay, let's say some obvious stuff. On knight h5, it's true that your knight was dominated by the pawn on f3, but just bringing the knight to f4 isn't that big of a deal anyway. So even if g4 wasn't possible, I'm not sure you want this. You could, like White could play rook a6, knight f4, knight c3 or something, it's not clear to me that black's better. Whereas the position after 15 f3, I do believe in black. In fact, what 15 f3 was just a weird move, man. Right? Wasn't it? Like he's worried about knight g4, but you know, come on, in knight g4 you could just play g3.
So you think f3 is just too cautious?
I think he needs to play rook a6 immediately.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point, actually. I mean, at first glance, I thought f3 is like kind of normal for the structure, but you're right. If it's not necessary, then we can. It's nicer to get rook a6 in for sure. I don't think white wants to deal with c5. Yeah, knight g4, g3.
Yeah.
Queen h6.
H3. That's why my bishop's on f1.
And no problem, huh?
No problem.
Yeah. So what's happening now? Bishop takes c2 on the board. Maybe we're just going for this endgame.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what's going on here.
Gh5.
Gh5, it happened, yeah. I guess it's hard to imagine anything else. Now, that endgame, Kostya, what would be your evaluation? Would you say white's winning? Would you say white's clearly better? What would your thoughts be?
I think white's clearly better, but I would say it's pretty tough to win. But objectively, I feel like white's doing pretty good there.
Yeah, my sense is he's got to be winning.
No. Well.
Yeah, just it's because those pawns are so weak over there, and I don't know how you actually deal with the g pawn on g6. If you play fg, well, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think that's gonna work out. Okay, it is happening. You, by the way, so you win points at least in the guess the move game.
That's true. I called this line.
Yeah. It's all happened. Well, let's say it's something obvious here, Kostya. Mitch is playing the big boys, and he's got 2 draws, and now this one he's better. And I think
he's doing fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And the games we've seen, like he was winning. The one game I remember watching. Yeah. And this one, he's got great time management. He's got loads of time left. And I guess the only thing he needs now is to use it. That's all he needs now is to use that time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked out. I mean, I feel like he played g4 very quickly because it's basically a winning move, and I think it should have been checked a little bit more carefully, but I guess there just wasn't much for black after king h1. Curious about what Quirk had in mind, because don't feel like this is really what he would have wanted.
Well, let me tell you a story that I think explains Quirk.
Origin story.
So I've got this friend, who's a really strong runner, and one thing that's incredible about her is that she finds it psychologically impossible to run on a straight path. Okay? So, if you take her up into the mountains or whatever it is, she's fine. She's just enjoying life. But if you gotta run some rail trail, some flat rail trail for a long time, it's not just unpleasant for her. She will actually lose her mind.
Wow.
And I think that's worked. He felt every game I see of his, he tries to induce the madness. He can't just leave it alone. And so that move knight h5, I feel like even though he was better in that position, he just felt like he needed to start some drama. And drama he got. Drama he got.
Yeah.
What's cool for me about Mitch is I don't know entirely his chess history, but my sense is that he really has not played that much. I mean, obviously he's studying a lot now and he's really going for it. But he's not somebody, I don't think, who came up playing a lot of chess, hasn't played a lot of tournaments. He told me he's never even played an IM or a GM, and here he is. And like, you look at this game, and I had some questions about some positional stuff he did, but fine. And also kind of a GM opening move choice to play the French, exchange French.
Wow.
Because seriously, this is against Quirk. That is exactly, I did the video and I was like, listen, there's a couple ways to take down a French player's soul. And I did one for the attacking players and I did one for the boring players. And this is, if you are like a player who just wants that small nickeling advantage, then this setup is the one for you. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that Mitch is winning. FG's been played. And the problem, of course, is that when you've got 3 extra pawns, the pawns need to be doing something, right? And in this position, Black's pawns are doing nothing.
Right.
The obvious move for White is to play knight d2 and then dream about getting that knight onto e5. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably impossible for Black to stop that knight getting e5.
Oh, so that's how you win. Knight just goes to e5.
Yeah. He played rook a6, probably okay. Now, we should say, and Mitch will watch this later. Actually, Mitch, let me just tell you right here, bro. You've got loads of time, and you need to make sure that a dude like Quirk doesn't get any counterplay. And so, rook a6 is probably fine. But, yeah, you want to take a little bit more time. For example, one problem with rook a6 is it does give Black the opportunity to play like bishop g2, king g2, rook f4. And then you got to deal with a d pawn, and you might have to worry about rook af8 with rook f2 nonsense.
Yeah, or even rook g4 check. No, I think you're totally right. Like take here, rook d1, rook f8, and then threatening check, and king will have to go on the h file, and then yeah, it's just awkward. Your second rook comes in.
I mean, if you have to play rook d1, that's just not already. If you have to play rook d1, no, right? No.
Yeah. So I mean, rook a6. You only spent like a minute on this, but I mean, this is like, yeah, it's kind of the same mistake we've seen from Mitch, where you probably have multiple good moves, or maybe only one. But I mean, the only way you're really gonna figure it out is if you take your time to think about it. I mean,
right. And we could also just say a very simple thing is that you gotta fix the knight. You have to fix the knight.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, you remember Mitch's game last week against Mike Fellman. He had the 2 minor pieces against the rook, and immediately like trades off like knight for bishop, goes into like 2 bishops versus rook endgame, and then it became much harder to win and couldn't do it. So kind of quick decision, rook a6.
And one of the things too, and we'll see this in our other game with Eric and Joel, is I feel like players under 2200, maybe even under 2400, don't understand how hard the end game can be.
Yeah.
And so they think the moves are basically obvious.
Right.
And that's why they play them so fast. Like other parts of the game, they understand it's not obvious, but for some reason that's some psychological stuff, they don't appreciate how hard the end game actually is. That's my experience, let's say.
I think it's because books, they always just show the critical middle game part with all the analysis, and then they just show the rest of the game with like the end game. And even though the player had to like win like a technical struggle, it's just, you just play through all the moves real fast. Like, it's not important. Okay, bishop g2, king g2 on the board. And yeah, I don't know. I think if white loses the d pawn, then it becomes like much harder to win all of a sudden.
Right. So my sense, for example, after rook f4 is if you have to play rook d1, that's already a really bad sign. And that, yeah, let's meet up in the analysis board here for a second here, and we'll see if we can. My gut is that it's still winning, but it's it's gonna get a little messy.
Sure.
Okay, so bam. You got king g2, and Quirk is thinking about it. So I'm gonna say rook f4. Let's try it. Let me try it. Let's spar a little bit because this is always fun. Rook c6. And what do you want to do? You want to take my business on d4? Rook f8, fine. And right, and in this position, white is going to need a very exact move.
A Gelfand move.
A Gelfand move. This is... There's a lot of different moves for white to try, too. Let's just say, yeah, this is now a thing of great skill for white to pull this off. It's probably going to come down, if you're going to win this, right, it's going to be a very technical ending with you having just like one pawn left and having the knight have to do some dirty.
I mean, it's definitely still winnable. Right, yeah.
How about let me try knight c3? I don't know. Knight c3.
Okay, I will give this check just to see.
All right.
Okay. And yes, I take.
Makes sense to me. And now rook c7.
Okay, I'll try rook d2.
Now, chess fans, if I play rook 1 e7, I will be mated with rook m1.
Tricky.
Okay, so let's bring the king back.
Okay, I'll go here.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that was the idea of king g1. That was smart.
Now you still, if you play rook f2, it still is going to be right on the edge of you drawing. Yeah. Now the good news is I think I can always walk this way because my knight, like the dream is that my knight will cover some key squares. So check to the miserable king. Over here. Over here. White should be winning, right?
Feels winning. Yeah. But maybe h5 was really wrong. And like, yeah, black should try. Oh, but d4 you also go rook e7.
And there's other moves too. Knight e4, knight e5 have to be the thoughts as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do here as black.
Let's go back to this rook f4, rook c6, and you played rook a f8, which certainly makes sense. Okay, let's say that's got to make sense. You gave me this dirty check, makes sense. And I played rook c7. Okay, let's think about. Oh man. So right, you're not in time to. You need to play king, like h6 and rook d2 in one move,
Yeah.
and then maybe you could play like rook. Even then, I don't know. Right, if your rook were already on d2, you maybe could kind of sort of try to stave me off with rook f7.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Don't be a jerk, Jesse. No, yeah, right. You had h6. Is that no? It's not true, because on rook f7, of course, I can play rook e8 and then rook e7 back. So we're not even that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, so it looks bad, right? It looks bad. I'm sure the game will. Oh, and
Rook d1's already on the board. It's already on the board.
Oh man. Now, Mitch, you're going to watch this on the rerun, and I always want to tell you, maybe you're still winning after rook d1, but I just want to tell you that kind of passive move is, in general, not what you want. Right, Kostya? No rook d1. No to rook d1.
I just feel like you should at least think about the active option. Just like consider it.
Well, he thought for 5 minutes on that one.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
This one, yeah. Like, okay, let's.
5 minutes it's something. Okay. It could have been a much bigger decision. I mean, we were calculating for more than that, and we're still not really sure. So probably could have.
Well, let's try it again. Let's go to the analysis board, and after rook d1, I'm gonna try your fancy pants move, rook afa.
Mm-hmm.
And then how? Sometimes the passive move is actually okay. Or let's be clear about it. Sometimes it's okay. But now, right, white isn't. Yeah, like it's gonna be hard to deal with the counterplay black's getting with the rooks. So after rook afa, Kostya, what does white want?
Well, the threat is what? It's rook g4 check, king h1, like rook f2? Something like that?
Yeah, and depending on what white does, I mean, rook f2 is also a reasonable looking move.
Mm-hmm.
You could go full passive with rook a2, for example. Then I'd have to think about what I want to do in life. But
smart money's on rook a2.
Well, I think if you're going to play rook d1, I guess the person who plays rook d1, their instinct is rook a2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's say rook g4, king h1, and we can see this variation: rook f4, rook a d2.
Right.
This might actually happen.
Yeah.
And
but I still like white. I feel like white is doing great. I just don't see black being in time
This one, I don't know. I really don't know, Kostya, because the knight, it's like, if white does it this way, it's like white's trying to say that the knight will solve all the problems.
Yeah.
And no, I think black's going to play like king f7, g5, king e6. We will get play. No doubt. We will get play.
Yeah.
No, I think this is the passive. That's the other thing I see in the end game is people being passive and not even thinking about being active in the same way. Like, for example, Mitch has studied loads of openings, right? He's a 2400 opening chess god. And all these openings that he's playing with, he's an e4 player. There's loads of gambits that he's looking at, right?
Right.
Well, in the end game, you gambit a pawn too, my friend. It can get a little wild and woolly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, for a lot of players, it's like you might be comfortable with some kind of like thematic middle game pawn sacrifice because you've seen it a lot of times before. But yeah, you can essentially do the same thing in many end games and feel that same confidence that you're going to get good compensation for the material.
Right. Um, we're gonna have to. We have two other games we haven't even touched on. But before we do that, Kostya, let me pull up on the analysis board the game my students are playing. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Um, ban. And so, wait a second. Oh, I still got the wrong game. Hold on. I can do this. I know how to do this. I know how to do it. Let me pull this up here. Sometimes the end of a long week can take forever. Okay, so we left it in this position. H6 happened. White decided on bishop f6, gf6, knight f4, c6, bishop b2. I have a feeling, Kosta, you're not on the analysis board yet.
No, I'm here.
Okay, so bishop c5. Now, so right away, c6 is a very ambitious move, which is just saying I'm killing the white knight on c3. And so I like it. There's other moves too. Bishop d6. Bishop c5. Good move. Rook hf1. I think I'm going to go ahead and say I like black. Yeah, I like this position. Black can play king e7 here. I'm gonna almost guaranteed that's going to happen, and then knight e5 will happen, and
king e7 on the board
was played. Yeah.
Wow, called it.
And at any point, of course, you can take the bishop on e6, and you probably are going to want to. But the simple truth is that black's dark square bishop is stronger than the white square bishop, and our knight on d7 is better than the knight on c3, and the king on e7 is better than the king on c1.
Mm-hmm. I guess you like Karpov winning this. This feels like a Karpov game.
Oh, this is like when I dream about chess, I dream about endings like this. I'm sorry to say, I know other people want to play fancy chess and all kinds of stuff, but yeah, this is the real deal right here. I really feel like, yeah, if you want to tells me they want to make it to IM or GM, you better learn to play a position like this, because your opponents, they don't know what they're doing. They'll be like Mitch. They'll just be playing instantly, trying to guard their precious pawns. Yeah. Rook d1 on the board. Well, which game should you want to go, Drew Tuck, or you want to go Argos?
Let's check out Drew Tuck versus Rosewood.
Okay.
They've got a pretty sharp opening here.
I haven't seen this opening since 1899. Oh, yeah. Pretty exciting stuff.
So we got like Scotch Gambit, white takes on f6. Usually this isn't supposed to be like great for white.
Yeah, but, well, I think the joy of this thing for for white is you get a position where, the people in 1500 when this was played first, they couldn't figure it out either. And honestly, when I think about playing 1e5 myself,
Mm-hmm.
the bummer is you have to really say to yourself, okay, I'm going to memorize all these weird lines since the beginning of time.
It's true.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that. That's hard.
I mean, it can be kind of fun when you find out that black is just winning in a lot of these positions that players used to go into willy-nilly.
Right.
So there's some upside.
Yeah, and when you're white in this, even if the computer does say you're lost, it's obvious that white has long-term chances to create some drama.
Yeah, chances. I don't know. I feel like black must be doing well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I like black's position more too. But there's never any safety for the black king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big move for white, honestly, here, right? Um, you got to worry about you got to even worry about like pushing the pawns on the king side. Like black might push the pawns. You have to worry a little bit about queen f5, and you got to try to create some grief too. So moves like knight e4, rook e4, rook e2, some kind of thing. Maybe rook ad1, maybe b3. Loads of things to think about.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about rook ad8. I kind of feel like maybe black's last move could have been like b5 to defend c4 and then threaten queen f5.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, but on b5, a4.
If a4, I think just a6. And then white's rook is just not. It's going to be on the a file, not on the king side. So I'm like,
okay, yeah, makes sense to me. Yeah, I agree. Rook ad. I mean, I still believe in black's position, but it's not clear that rook ad8 was necessary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why in this position, like I'm saying, white has a chance to find something. Find some kind of something. Oh, Rosewood. I know Rosewood. Yeah. Even funny, I recognized him from his picture with the watch because he's this Turkish, really nice guy. And he sells watches. One of his side hustles is he sells watches on Instagram. And I think is very successful.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think Rosewood is, am I right? He's Sombrero on the Discord?
That's right, Sombrero.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go to Argos?
Yeah, so we got Argos versus Henry. And this was a knight Earth. H3 knight Earth.
H3 knight Earth.
My favorite.
It's amazing to me how the weird moves of modern chess percolate instantly down to the club level, right? Like H3s are. I mean, I have a feeling if I was like in a lesson with one of these guys and I said, "All right, explain H3 to me," I think it would be pretty hard to do it. You know?
I hope not.
Well, it's a hard business, these moves. And if you had shown the move H3 to Fischer or anybody from an older generation, they'd just be like, no. They'd be like, no, that's not what we do.
No, I disagree. For one, Fischer played H3 a couple of times. And
you got me on that one.
He even beat knight Earth. He beat someone with it. Someone good. But I don't know. I mean, I think Argos played it pretty well. Like e5, he goes knight e2. That's right. Then he goes g4 and puts the knight on g3. I mean, so far I think he played this one absolutely correctly with white. First questionable move maybe is taking on f5 with the g pawn, I would say.
I'm glad you said that, Kosi, because I was just thinking about it too, and I think it's GF is born out of like some kind of dogma about taking towards the center and dreaming about putting a rook on the G file.
Yeah.
But EF really is a much stronger move because it opens the bishop on G2. Now you're unopposed bishop, and I think that is a massive position for white. In addition to all of the light squares, well, you got to worry about H4 G5 coming up real quick here.
Yeah, no, I think white is just crushing here. I think H3 knight Earth players make this mistake at least once in their lives because every student that I've shown the H3 knight Earth line to, they'll play G takes F5 at some point, and then we got to talk about it. It's like never again E takes F5.
Bruce, no, H3 is not to give the dark square bishop a hiding spot. It's to do this madness here. In fact, right. But I think if you're out there, Neil Bruce, I know that you are you're good on the internet. You should make a clip of Kostya rebutting my comment about Fischer and the older generation laughing at H3, and then Kostya says, "Excuse me." Fischer did play h3 and beat Najdorf himself. That would be a great one.
That would be a pretty good clip. Yeah, someone clip that. You guys figure it out. Oh, thanks, Foos Chaz. Yeah, there we go.
Fischer Najdorf 62. That's hilarious, man. I do have a vague memory of that game too. That's interesting. Yeah. Now h3, to my recollection, came back with like Naroditsky, and Naroditsky also played h4, if I remember. He played both h3 and h4, and it just, both of them upset my soul a lot.
Yeah, no, I think now it's become like, I mean, maybe the number 3 line behind Bishop e3 and Bishop g5 in the Najdorf. Like Vichy, he's playing this all the time. I think Caruana, Nepo, other Open Sicilian guys.
And let me just say, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to posit this, but of course, Fischer played Bishop c4 most of his life,
right.
And my memory of that game, because I studied all the Fischer games a long time ago, is that it felt to me, anyway, at the time when I studied it, as like, okay, we're just doing this both as an insult and because I don't want to play anything of prep against this dude. That's my recollection of it. It's just let's say, call it my impression of that game. So so I didn't even think of it as a real thing that he did. But okay, you did get me. I'm not trying to get out of the fact that you got me. That was a pretty good get. Okay.
Yeah, I like what Vishnu is saying.
That's totally true. I would. And honestly, I don't think people should play h3 unless they are like a super GM. And I think the super GM is to like confuse it for everybody else when they play stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mitch has got a big decision on his case with after Rook AF8, which we talked about, and we had talked about Rook A2 as being the fitting follow-up to a person who plays Rook B1. Maybe he's got to do it because otherwise the rooks are going to come in.
I just wanted to touch back to the Najdorf game real quick, because in the live position, after White went GF 97, we got some like kind of normal moves, but I kind of feel like Black is now doing very much okay.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think GF was a capital crime. And F4, I'm not sure about. Maybe you can help me out with this question. Is that when he plays F4 in this position, at any point now, Black will gain the E5 post, and that's going to be a good thing.
I think F4 is one of those moves. I think Open Sicilian players, sometimes you just have to do it anyway. You're like, without F4, I have no activity, so I don't like that I'm giving him the E5 square, but I still have to open things up. So, yeah, not always a move White loves playing, but for this system, it is at least thematic. In other positions, like I think F4 can be a really strong move. Yeah.
And B5 is very ambitious. He could do a variety of other things, but B5 very ambitious. Anytime you get White to play A3, that's a good day. And then Knight B6, probably great. I wasn't thrilled because I wanted to put the Knight eventually on E5, but yeah, like you said, Black is doing great.
Yeah, and you know what? That shows kind of the drawback of these H3 systems, because I would say maybe knowing that White should take EF is not like basic knowledge for this line, but it may be one tier above like basic knowledge. And so like White messes this up, and now Black just has like a fantastic Najdorf, and White is probably already worse.
And well, I want to say, to me, the lesson has nothing to do with the opening system, but that you got to recognize that when he takes an F5, you own the light squares, and those got to get lit up. You got to light those babies up. Now, when you look at the game continuation, our unopposed bishop on G2 is just this terrible dog.
Yeah.
This terrible thing.
Right. Okay, so let's go to Let's see. So Mitch is. Oh, he's tanking.
He's tanking. He's good, I guess.
Yeah, this is.
Good, he's tanking.
This is his longest think of the game. Okay, good. I think maybe he felt like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm playing a little bit too fast because now there's stuff to calculate. Like black has annoying checks here.
Yeah. And Eric just played h3. I don't know. I don't know about h3. But I also think it's a hard position to figure out what to do. Do you understand h3? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if I get it.
H3 could be to support G4 or Bishop G4.
Okay, that was deep.
That's what I thought.
Like, let's say black just plays knight e5. There's other moves, of course, but knight e5.
Can we look at knight h5 and e5? In what position? Instead of h3?
Knight h5 and e5. Here, okay, let me get the let me pull it onto analysis.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look. What I'm suspicious of playing e5, but if I understand Vishnu right, the intention is anyway the knight on c3 needs a fix. So we go to this position with king e7, and we play knight h5. We can at least claim that we're kind of sort of pinning the knight on d7 down. And okay, let's say rook hg8.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this variation right here with rook hg8 shows what Eric is dreaming of, because after rook hg8 you can't play g4, right?
Yeah, I mean, could white go g3 or?
He could, but I think that was what he was unsatisfied with.
Mm-hmm.
For example, on g3 you got to worry about bishop h3. It's really kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, that is annoying.
That's an old trick. I don't even know how powerful a trick it is. I mean, because maybe my rook and... Anyways, it's annoying. Yeah.
It should make sense.
I guess that's... Now, let's just think about what Vishnu's thinking about. Could he play some weird thing like e5? I kind of don't think so, but it's a thought. It's kind of... I do want to say, Vishnu, it's at least a good thought, because this knight, right, it needs fixing. It needs real fixing. So, like, I don't know, pawn takes and knight e4. The bummer is I have this unloading business here with bishop e3 too. My dark square bishop is a fiend.
Yeah.
It's a real fiend. Yeah, h3 is a setup to the super deep e5. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Eric to play e5.
No, I wouldn't either. It's a really, but and what he knows that I'll yell at him too is that if he lets X amount of moves go by and the knight on c3 is still terrible, he knows I'm going to yell at him. He knows about that I'm going to yell at him. 3, maybe, yeah, maybe you're saying some kind of thing like, at some point I'll play g4 and try to put the pawn on, just shut the position down over there on the king side.
So Joe played b5 in the game.
Wow. I don't know, buddy. All right. Wow. Pretty. We've talked he loves his b5 thing. We've talked about it.
Is that jerking? Is he jerking?
Yeah, I think he's jerking a little bit for sure. Just because, well, probably. Now, black's position is so good that I think he's still going to be much better. Well, okay, let's say something obvious. The problem, if you will, is that it's not entirely easy to know what black should do in this position, and he could claim that b5 is simply a good building move. No, okay. I mean, it's certainly a good building move, and me and Joel have actually talked a lot about. There's a lot of b5s that happen in a variety of Philidor positions. So, no, I'm going to give it. It's ambitious, but it looks all right to me. Of course, the alternative is to move a rook somewhere.
What's going on knight fd5? Is there any trickery here?
Knight fd5. Holy moly! I have to admit, I didn't even think about it. That might be a great move. CD.
Yeah, I want to go ED.
ED. Wow. Let me just make sure I understand something. So king e7. One thing that we can say is that after king e7, this trick was already available.
That's true. Yeah.
And I always want to admit to everybody it was not crossing my radar.
Yeah, no one's just in chat either. What's going on, guys?
And the great so rook hf1. The great thing about it is it will transform the position, and white really needs to transform the position because it is not a good thing here. But it becomes stronger after b5 because then the pawn is hanging. The position is looser. All right, let's let knight fd5, cd, ed. Wow, okay.
Just feels like everything is opening up and white is developed.
Well, his bishop on e2 is still, it's improving. It's improving, but it isn't improved. The pawn on b5, though, is a major. I'd really like that pawn not to be there. If that pawn wasn't there, I would still say black is better. But with that thing there. Okay, wait a second. Okay, let's say bishop h3.
Right. We take.
And then let's play. You're going to play knight e4, and that's my problem. So, but a6.
Well, how about just like d6?
Oh, man. Thought we were going to be friends.
Is that what you thought?
Okay, wait. It's all right. I take the thing.
Oh, you take. Well, check.
Yeah. And then I'm going to put the king somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. F8. Maybe knight f6. I think I might have something better than that. Let's just say this goes after knight f6. White's the one who's got the juice.
Yeah, knight f6. Even maybe knight b6. I think is good.
Yeah, like you might have something more fancy, but it's clear that you're doing.
Oh yeah. No, this is
okay.
This is real scary for black.
Now, here's another interesting thing about Eric. The kid really now. It's like if we can get a mind meld between Eric and Mitch, we're going to get a real player because Eric will think in these endgame positions, and
right.
he is actually calculating. He's not daydreaming. So if he's now, but the weird thing about knight d5 is you either see it or you don't, right?
That was true for me. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like, if you're not thinking about it, you're not going to see it. And one reason not, he just played king b1.
Oof.
One reason not to see it is just because. Well, like I will say one reason I wasn't thinking of anything active for white is I didn't like the white position, and I thought he was just hanging out. And honestly, right, he played h3 and king b1, or h3 and so if you didn't see it when you played h3, you're not going to see it after b5.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, b5 was like waving a flag at a bull, to be honest. I didn't like b5 at first. I couldn't say why, though.
Good. I think you're right, yeah. And you used the word jerking, which is appropriate.
That's true.
No, it is appropriate. Black needs a good move here. He just has to shut it down.
Well, now in king b1, yeah, feels like he should have time.
A good... I don't know.
This is the live position here. I'll just put it up real quick.
Yeah.
h3, b5, king b1.
Yeah, king b1 is the move. And you see the times there. Joel's got to think about it. Now, there's a question: has Joel seen it? Sometimes the defender sees it, because he's like, "Oh no, oh no, and about 95 is about to land on my head."
Yeah, exactly. But even if he sees it, how exactly do you defend against it?
Right. I mean, because whatever he does, he still has to worry about this knight h5, which is honestly not the scariest thing.
Yeah.
But he'd be concerned about it.
I mean, if Black is okay with repeating, then he can move his knight, then knight h5, he can go back, maybe. Still, White has another knight that can go to d5.
Now, I just want to say, I mean, even if White won that pawn on f6, I still believe in the Black position. The bishops are amazing. So when you leave, when knight f4 goes and plays, Black is the one who's got the two bishops and yada yada. You didn't take on e6. The knight on c3, toast. So I'll tell you what, let's go to this in the analysis board. King b1, promote this.
Yeah.
And knight e5 is my first instinct. So I'll just play it, Costa. I'll just play knight e5. And I'll ask you, do you want to play knight h5 and go spend your time taking my pawn?
Mm-hmm.
Costa says yes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about it. Watch your pawn, buddy.
What else?
Okay. Knight c4.
So live position is basically with knights on d7 and f4. Black is thinking about it here, and we're just trying to figure out how does Black deal with this threat.
And at least my presumption is that the knight on c3 is so bad that Black should have an advantage. Nota bene, we didn't really need to play b5. Like b5, not clear if we ever needed it.
Yeah, that's a tough one for White. I don't know.
Maybe though you just play bishop c4, rook f6, and say what? What do you got? hitting c6. Oh, not so bad.
Yeah, I didn't like this. I just felt like even. I mean, like bishop e6.
Sure.
And I don't know.
But here, White's messing with me. He's messing with me. Like e5 is a thought with knight e4 coming. He's messing with me. I want, as Black, I want to say I want better than that. I would like to have better than that position. I feel like I deserve better. But besides knight e5, I'm not coming up with a great move to stop the knight d5 trick. Oh, a5 was played by Joel.
Oh boy.
truly waving the red flag, as he said. So
I would love for Eric to just like blast out knight fd5. Like he's like, oh, please give me a chance.
Now, I want to say, if you didn't see knight d5, a5 is not dumb, because you're saying my knight doesn't know how to improve itself, nor do my rooks, and I want to grab space in front of the white king. And so even if black doesn't have a clear notion of what's next, if you're just playing like a move like a4, it's not just that you're attacking the king, but you're gaining a lot of space there. So strategically, it's not ridiculous. It's just that you are not appreciating that knight fd5 is going to mess with us.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got a thought here. How about this? Let's say knight fd5, and we hang our heads in sorrow that we missed it. And then we play king f8. Say, all right, you can take the pawn and see done.
Well, there's knight c7.
Okay, but all right, let's look. So knight c7, and I play rook d8.
d8.
And I'm just going to come back to e7.
Well, I can take on e6, take on f6.
Oh, that wasn't nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me see if I can get out of it again. So knight fd5. Is there some way that I can just drop the pawn?
Right. That would be nice. I mean, we can show just what you're kind of going for. Like,
I got an idea, actually, Kosi. How about this?
Yeah.
King f8,
right.
knight c7, rook a7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we gotta take. Yeah, maybe black kind of wriggles out. I think e5 here probably what white has to do.
Yeah, and then you can play e5. I think is definitely the right move. This is Vishnu's move here. e5, and knight e4 is coming. If f5, just knight e4 anyway.
Some attribute it to Lasker Capablanca, but sure, Vishnu.
Yeah, as long as the knight can get into e4, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. There it is. Let me ask one last question about this e5. So let's say
Yeah.
knight e5. Is that completely insane?
Knight takes e5. I was thinking white goes rook d8 check, and then takes on f6.
Okay, let's try it out. The only reason to think that maybe black is still on the hunt here is just because the white king is funny. I don't want to make any strong claims, but that would be the like rational.
Yeah, it's definitely not like super clear yet.
This is not what black wants. Let's just say
But,
that it's an
yeah.
obvious thing. This is not what he wanted. So will he find it? Eric's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. I think it hasn't crossed his mind yet, though. Because once it crosses your mind, you're going to do it. Because if you don't have knight f5, your position's just terrible.
Yeah, I think he's been kind of just calculating the same lines like knight h5, g4,
Oh, he just played a4.
a4. Yeah.
Just played a4
Maybe he wants b4, knight cd5. That's the thing in the Sicilian. A lot of times you induce b4 before you sack your knight. It's just totally unnecessary. White might still be fine because
But
like.
But knight cd5, we can take it. You're not winning the bishop anymore.
Oh, there's no bishop. There's bishop f5. Yeah, so that doesn't make sense then. Yeah. Then black just plays b4 here without worry.
Now, it is true, and this is one of the things, is that on a positional level, maybe, it's just after b4, Eric, I guess if he doesn't see it, then the dream has to be after b4 that he's going to play knight a2, c1, and try to glom onto some light squares.
Yeah, it's really slow.
It's really slow.
No, something went wrong. I mean, because I feel like he could have at least played g4 knight h5, and it's not like I don't really get uh, I don't really get what a4 is about. I just don't see the problem that he's solving, I guess.
Well, I mean, let's just say, I mean, if you don't see after a5, if you don't see the knight fd5, you're just like, oh no, I'm just like, the trend is against me. And so, right, he does want, if black achieves a4, that is a big thing. You know, black wants to put its pawns in the opposite color of the beast on c5. So I get a4. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm with Vishnu. I'm wondering then, like, yeah, why h3 then? Because it seems like
Because he was losing his mind. He was losing his mind. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's so cruel is that black actually, I mean, technically it's a mistake what he did with b5 and then a5 because of this knight d5 thing. But if you don't see it, what he's doing is this very proud thing where he's saying, I'm just, my position is better and I'm just going to improve it to death, and then you're going to die.
Yeah, from positional standpoint, right.
Yeah, it's pretty good from
Moves
a positional
make sense.
standpoint.
I'm thinking Eric's king b1 here. This might have been about stopping b4, you know, and like bishop takes a2.
Maybe.
And but that seems problematic to me because that's not a threat, right? We go knight a4 and b3, and black wouldn't want this pawn.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. No, I think the last couple moves, Eric has been, you know, in a position we've all been in where you don't know what the frick to do.
Yeah.
You know? Now I'm going to just go ahead and say, though, let's go to the analysis board. I still think it's not, I don't know if it's that bad for white yet. So, for example, b4, I think he should take on e6. If he goes knight a2, I'm worried about b3.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to take on e6, and then we're going to go fe, and then knight a2. And am I worse? Yes, but I think I have a plan where you're going to put your knight on e5, and I'm going to try to play knight c1 to d3 to get rid of it, and eventually put my bishop on the active c4 square. That's my...
Yeah, so it's definitely still playable for white. He's very, very far from losing here.
He might be real close. He might be
real close?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying I got a plan, but this position, your king's, you know, it's opposite color, and it's going to mean that the person with the initiative is better, and definitely black's got the initiative. Oh boy, howdy, right?
But are we talking like GM chess or like 2000 level chess?
That this is a dangerous position.
Like, yeah, like how winnable is it against an opponent with white here who just kind of defends solidly, doesn't make, you know, too many weaknesses, and just tries to hold on?
Well, let's take a look at a sample variation, and people can make up their own mind. So knight a2, let's say there's more than one thing black can do, but let's just do obvious ones. Knight e5.
Yeah. Try knight c1.
c1. I don't... there's so many nice things here for black. But... like h5 is a good move. In fact, I'm going to take knight e5 back. I'm going to take knight e5 back. Let's play h5. And then let's say knight c1.
Yeah.
And then either h4 or just like rook g8. So like here, here. Oh, look at that. I mean, still, it's not over in that variation.
Yeah.
Not over in that variation. Okay, let's try it again. This actually is a really interesting question. I assume this is going to happen. Let me just make sure they're thinking about it. I assume something like this is going to happen, and then black's going to have a great moment here where he has to make a call of how to play this, and I definitely believe he's better, but it's not super obvious how. what?
Yeah, I would say the problem for black is that like basically every exchange kind of helps white, whether it's knights or rooks.
Yeah, well said. That's right.
And so that makes it tough. Yeah, so if you play rook d8, white just trades, goes rook d1, is always just happy to keep trading or just control the d file. So yeah, to me, I mean 100% I take black here, but I guess I don't know, the way I would kind of envision is like maybe white just can't, or black just can't avoid a knight trade, and black just has to like be like, okay, we're gonna put the bishop on e5, the knights will get traded, and then you just kind of play around that.
Yeah, I like it what you're saying, and maybe bishop d6, knight c1, knight c5. Yeah, knight c5 I like a lot. Well, that's just actually just maybe that's just flat out winning.
Oof, yeah.
Took me forever, but yeah, just putting the knight on c5 is a good thing.
Okay, so that means white would then, so bishop d6. All right, let's say b3.
And let me just say that's a sad day when you got to do that, because look at that thing. Look at that thing. At any given point, I'm putting that bishop there, and I think I'm going to say that's lost. There's no way. There's no way you do that. And the other bummer would be b3. Not only did it cost you a tempo, but your knight kind of wanted that square.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then this is starting to make a little sense how black would actually go about winning this one.
Let me try for white here. So I think before we play b3, we should be thinking about sacrificing.
Okay, that's not how 2,000 players defend, but fine.
Knight c1. Let me play knight c1.
Yeah, knight c5.
Knight c5. Knight b3.
All right. Okay, I guess I'll take this one.
And then I want to try to get an initiative on the light squares.
Yeah, see, already I feel better about white's position.
Fix your business, right? Fix your business. Now, black is still better. There's no question, but yeah. And the simple way to understand it is like, even if I have to go Mitch, go Mitch and go passive, like here, you know, my knight is coming back. I do get to bring the knight back. This bishop will arrive on e5 someday.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, all right. Okay, so knight e6 happened just as predicted. And Joel's thinking about FE, I presume.
He's thinking about it. Interesting.
Let's should we go to our game of the day? I'll grab the PGN and we'll talk.
Let's check in with Mitch. So Mitch he spent a lot of time on his 24th move. Rook takes c6 here. 19 minutes, maybe a record on the show. We'd have to go back and check the footage. might be a record.
And let's say something obvious. When you play rook c6, you think forever. Well, you're regretting rook d1. You're regretting.
Yeah, it's quite possible. We check
rook g4,
rook f2,
rook f2,
and rook c3.
C3, and this is I don't think you're winning this anymore. It's hard to imagine. It's real hard to imagine after the very simple rook 4, g2.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his idea is to put this rook on h3, but yeah, usually this is just really awkward to work. I mean, it's still doable.
Let's just see though, because let's say I play g5.
Mm-hmm.
Knight c3, I guess, right?
Okay.
Knight c3, g4.
Because there was also maybe rook g1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take that away from you.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking because that might be like a nice solution.
But then look at this: rook g1, king, rook b2.
Yeah, we go knight.
We got knight a3.
Knight a3, yeah.
Okay. Still not a great fan of it, especially after knight a3. Look, I could even play the ridiculous a6. You know what? It's going to be very hard to win this thing.
I mean,
Yeah, very tough to win this thing.
You know, honestly, I'm not sure. Like, let's say rook c3. I got knight
Okay,
c2.
rook c3. King f7.
Yeah. I'll bring the knight.
So knight c2. King e6. At least, let's just say it. At least the knight's doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta feel like the knight is doing good here against like the. It's like the two pawns are doubled. Like.
The bummer is if you lose the b3 pawn, I don't know. Yeah, it's starting to get like close to. No, it's very hard. This is this close.
Yeah.
Now let's just go. I assume rook gg2 is going to get played. No, rook something totally different. Rook got played. Rook h4, which maybe is better. So let's go back to that.
Rook h4.
Rook h4. Okay, so the only drawback of rook h4 is h3 is possible, which I assume Mitch is going to do without thinking too. Right? H3 is fours?
I don't really see another move.
Yeah. And then... So, okay, let's try to get into Quirk's head. So he's saying to himself that the rook on h4 is touching this, and that's what's going to make life difficult.
Right.
And I guess g5 is the first thought that comes to my head. Yeah, g5.
G5. Maybe king g1.
Uh-huh, good. Rook b2. Your old friend knight a3.
Yeah, knight a3 works.
Maybe, in fact, rook a2 might be the genius move, just to stop knight a3. But my point was, like, let's say knight a3, and let's say I just get boring and I play g4. Are you really going to escape the checks?
Oh.
Hard to imagine.
Well, that's annoying.
I guess you'd have to somehow sack another pawn or something. I don't know. You could play the amazing rook dd3. You could play the amazing rook dd3. But black, you know, if nothing else, if I just trade off gh, I've made a huge positional gain in my position. Right?
Yeah, I think so. No, but you're also hitting d4 when you take on h3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's not, no one's happy about it. No one cares happy about it.
Well, knight d2 hangs the d4 pawn, so I think...
Right.
Not sure we have a moment that we can do this safely. That's the problem. Maybe on g4 we can play knight d2, but we have to kind of move the knight here at this point, or do something else. I don't know. No, it's really tough. I think g5 is a nice resource. Just feels like white is not yet getting out in time.
h3 was played, and so Quirk is thinking about Quirk's. Mitch does have the time advantage here, and right.
Hey, Paspon, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Cool. So do you see another option besides g5?
No, definitely not.
Honestly, maybe something weird like king f7, but I don't, even if I'm playing king f7, I'm probably going to play g5 just so that my king can start wiggling up the board anyway. You know, and the bummer for Mitch is like, well, soon we might have to ask who's better and why, right? We might have to ask that question kind of soon. Maybe an obvious tactic I should point out too is that if after g5 rook g1,
Mm-hmm.
we can still play g4 because on rook g4 we're just got a snip and a rook f1 problem.
Yeah.
And the knight is justly punished for never having moved. It's moved 30.
Yeah.
Oh, I did a blunder, guys. I was moving the pieces around.
No, I followed on the board. We got rook e4 though. No g5.
Huh. Okay.
Maybe g5 or g3. Is this possible? I guess just g4 anyway.
It's just g4 anyway. Yeah.
Taking a lot of pawns. So I don't know, something you didn't like. You just didn't see it. But rook e4. He's going for e2. So totally reasonable.
e4. Well, Kostya, let's say the first obvious thing. If rook d2, there's rook e1 mate.
I was thinking that.
Okay. So
I think we're gonna get rook d3, rook e2, rook d2, and then draw.
I don't like rook e4, Kostya. I'm gonna say this. Watch. Here's a way I think I can mess with you. For example, let's say king g1, and I assume let's just play rook e2 because that seems like the point.
Yeah.
Then I play rook g3, and my intention is to play knight c3 next move and say, what do you want?
Yeah. Well, maybe rook b2.
But I just play knight c3 anyway.
Knight c3. Actually, you're right. Maybe there's not much here for black. Huh. King g1, huh?
I mean, yeah, I don't feel like I'm being a genius. It's like interrupting. I'm doing the classic thing where you interrupt the rooks by taking away a square, any square where they're going to check you.
Ooh, how about check and rook f1? That's a good one, too.
Oh, there you go. Good, yeah. In that position, there's drawing chances after rook f1 and rook b2 because again the knight's silly, but that still should be great for white.
Yeah, I think
that's annoying, right?
it's not easy. I don't think this is easy. If you lose the b pawn, I think it gets real hard.
And I'm gonna be touching the h pawn too when I take it.
Yeah, exactly. Huh. So maybe not as easy, actually. I think maybe rook g3 is more ambitious because you get to keep more pawns on the board.
And I'm freeing my knight. I'm freeing my knight square.
Right.
Well, the predicted position is on the board with Joel and Eric. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Eric is really tenacious in a bad ending. I've seen him many times hold a bad ending, so this is gonna be a great game.
Nice.
Yeah. What's the ChessDojo news? Kosi, I don't get a chance to catch up with you too much here.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, we're gonna have the ladder starting soon. Just working on like the Google Sheet to figure it out.
Now I gotta ask you a question about the ladder.
Yeah.
So this is a truly new question. Why isn't the ladder like constantly ongoing?
Well, we want like individual seasons that are like, let's say 2 months long, so that just so that there's like club prizes. It's like a club tournament,
right?
And so by splitting it up, yeah, then we just have like these individual seasonal tournaments.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so we got the ladder going.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know if we have any special events we can plug just yet. I don't know, it might be kind of a quiet week. I don't know. We are growing, and actually, we're doing the most streaming we've ever done over the last like couple of weeks.
Right? Yeah, you and David especially. You guys have been every day, multiple hours.
Yeah, so I think we've kind of been just like chilling with the stream. Like it hasn't been like amazing. It's just like doing some games, some tactics. I played the viewers a couple times on Tuesday and Thursday this week. Yeah, I don't know. I think I need an event to prepare for. That's my problem. I need like something to be motivated for.
Like a chess event.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Vegas.
Like Vegas. I need like a tournament or some kind of match, something on the line.
Title Tuesday, bud. You can come join me on Title Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe I'll just like go hardcore on the blitz. I'll just try to become a blitz guy.
I mean, Title Tuesday, I honestly, it's nothing, it's not, at least for me, it's not something to work for. It's just like, since I don't get to play regular games, it's like a little bit of competitive feeling, more than anything else. Mitch did play King G1, which is cool. Yeah, and no nonsense says fits with all that puzzle rush you've been doing. How has that been going, buddy?
It's fallen off the rails. I mean, it's just, you just got too busy and missed a day, missed a couple of days, and now it's...
It was a weird thing, Kosti. We just got to admit it. It was a weird project.
No, I wanna get back into it.
It's a really weird project. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I've been trying, Sunny. If you have suggestions for streamers to do sub battles with, we'd be happy to set it up.
That'd be fun for sure. Yeah, I mean, not only are you gonna burn out with that kind of thing, but like, you're doing the back rank mate like so many times. It's like, I get it, bro. I get it. I did that trick where you play Queen A5 to win the bishop on B5 like thousands of times. How many times can you do it? Yeah. Too much.
That's funny.
I think.
No, for me, it was
this,
just not enough time for it, I would say. If I had like the 2 hours a day to dedicate to it, which I do, I just think like things gone in the way. But like, I'm 100% a believer that like Puzzle Rush is just good for your chess overall. Like if you do it consistently and for hours and hours on end, I think your tactics, they get much stronger. But you gotta commit. You gotta commit the time.
Yeah, we need a new viral video from you too, man. You are a viral video master. We got to get you to do another viral video. Oh, Neil Bruce is cutting you down. Bruce is cutting low.
Yeah, my watch definitely doesn't have 24 hours.
Lobazar says he spends 18 hours a day on chess. Do you believe that, Ghostia? Do you think that's true?
I mean, I don't know. Is he counting like his dreams? Like, what is this 18 hours? He does spend a lot of time though. That might not be crazy actually. We have a result actually with Argos and Henry. I mean, this was the Najdorf where Black was doing fine just a few short moves ago. So White played knight d5 and brought the queen to h4. I think Black kind of just ended up collapsing here.
Oh, well, he played knight takes d5 is what he did.
Yeah. Quickly, too. 8 seconds.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's going to regret that one. And then White didn't even take on e7, but took on g7 instead. Ouch. Right. Ay. Oh, Henry, sorry about that, buddy. Sorry about that.
I think position was good, even all the way up to... even before knight takes d5.
Yeah, and what ultimately is the hilario thing about it is he ended up activating the piece that White needed activating. Needed activating. He did
Yeah.
it for him. I don't know about that.
Definitely knight takes e4, yeah, I think is reasonable for black. And then just putting the bishop on f6. And then I think white would just have a ton of weaknesses. I feel like black is better. Just bring the queen to c4. Yeah, this group needs an intervention. Exactly. Rook g6? Oh, maybe. Maybe rook g6.
This group needs an intervention.
So yeah, probably taking on e4 would have been the safe thing to do. Okay, let's see. Drew Tuck versus Rosewood.
The rook on d8, all I know is looking at it, the rook on d8 is doing something. he put it there and it's now doing something.
Yeah. That's funny.
Black played that pretty well.
Yeah, I think he's doing good. He got d3. So what happened? We got knight e4, bishop b6, a4, queen f5. Right, because with knight e4, he's no longer hitting the c pawn. So let's black play queen f5, queen d1, bishop a5 is very annoying for white. d3. And yeah, I think black is basically in control.
Let me grab this PGN. I think I'm going to show you something because I'm going to ask you something. And but while I'm grabbing this PGN, I want to ask you: Are you studying much, like in terms of like reading books or anything like that?
Lately, honestly, not much. I have books I want to read, but haven't had time.
Did you see my book review, buddy? You see my book reviews?
Not the latest ones. I haven't watched them yet. I'm sorry. But they're on YouTube, and you guys should go see them.
Yeah, I did some book reviews. It's kind of funny. I didn't intend to, book reviews. I hadn't really thought about it, but it's kind of my way of forcing myself. Let's go to the analysis board.
Mm-hmm.
It's my way of forcing myself not only to read books, but to force myself to like have coherent thoughts about the books that I'm reading. I think this move that Joel just did, knight e5, it's a bad one. I still think he's better, okay? But the bummer about knight e5 is, yes, it's a very proud knight, but the bishop wants the square e5, and the knight wanted the square c5. And something actually I remember thinking when I was a kid, I just want to put that out there, because I think they might be thinking as well, is they might be saying some kind of story to themselves that they think this is a draw because the bishop's of opposite color. And honestly, if black doesn't play actively, if he does not use his advantages soon, it will turn into a draw. It really will, like knight c1, d3, and then start washing your hands.
Right. Yeah, white trades everything off.
So I'm assuming knight c1 is going to come. In fact, I bet that was just played. Knight c1. And we need a good move here. One idea might be to just kick it with bishop b6, with the thought that if knight d3, nah, I don't think it's going to work. I was thinking knight d3, I could play knight c4, but I think dude just takes here. I could do it, but it's not way. I'm giving away too many of my toys.
No, I think white is bishop h5, and yeah, I think white
bishop h5. I didn't even see bishop h5. Yeah, you don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
So after knight c1, Joe really needs a plan here. One thought I had originally was you could do this, but the sad thing is here, like you said, white just says any exchange is for me. It just starts saying, let's trade it all off. maybe I could play it like here because it gives me the c4 square. I don't know.
This would still be winnable with the
You
knights.
still got chances, but look, I got knight d3 coming. That's gonna be hard. But maybe let's look at this. Maybe this is a nice move. Knight d2, so that we're gonna meet king c1 with bishop e3.
Wait, can't we just take on e4?
Yes, good. We can just take an e4. Yeah. So even here, maybe so rook a d8. Like for example, knight d3. I was thinking on knight d3 that black could claim he's still better after bishop d4. You know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine though. It's anything special. Like knight e5. If fe, then we're going to play bishop h5, and you got to worry about that. So bishop e5, and then again, as the Germans say, Tauschmaschine, the exchange machine.
Mm.
And there it is. And then truly on bishop d4, you just get rid of it.
Right.
Draw. So yeah, black needs a good move here after knight c1. See, I trick myself and you guys sometimes because I say here, and then what I'm doing is I'm flipping back to the board instead of putting it on the card. Come on, Cry. Come on. So yeah, what do you got, Kosi? There's got to be some things that black can do here to keep pressure going.
Yeah, we can think about it for a sec. I mean, we maybe don't have to trade knights.
You definitely don't have to trade rooks. Let's say that.
Yeah. Right, so it's tough because, well, you can just like park the bishop on f3 and then we can't do anything to the g-pawn. And then we can't do anything on the d-file without trading rook, so it's hard to see like how black makes progress. But let's see.
Okay, let me make a try. So rook ag8.
Yeah.
And then I just want to see what you want after that.
All right, we can start with this. That's good. Yeah, let's say we go g4.
All right, g4. And I'm going to play h5.
Let's do knight d3.
All right, I'm going to take that thing.
Okay. I for draw.
You offer draw. That's nice. That's nice. You offer draw.
It's just, that's how kids act. They're like, "Oh, we're trading. Okay, I'm offering draw."
It's true. I'm not doing much. I wanted you to take on h5. That's right. Don't take on h5. Just sit. Just sit. Okay, let's go back. Knight e5 is really a boner of a move. It's almost like I want to go back.
Yeah, is that allowed?
Honestly,
Can we just go back knight d7?
Maybe we just go back to knight d7. The problem is we're not going to get our knight to c5 anymore. That's the problem. Knight's not going to get to c5.
Yeah, but at least we would just continue the struggle.
Or maybe knight f7, and then I can intend to play knight g5 at some point.
Yeah, I think that's how black should play. Just keep pieces on the board and maneuver a little bit.
Like right there, it's already a bummer because of knight f4. Not what I want. The knight's getting active. He went, he did his dance. Knight a2, c1, d3, and now he's coming to talk to our light squares.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And if we go like rook g8 here, is there anything or what is?
I was worried about bishop c4.
Yeah. Okay, knight g5.
Assume h4.
h4, and what if we... Can we take? Is this possible?
Bishop e6. I got the light squares now.
Yeah, it looks pretty tough. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a bummer. Let's go back to knight c1. Let's just see if that 195 move was bad, but there's got to be some way. Okay, let me try this. Rook AG8, HG8, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
HG8. And I'm assuming G4. You can take it back if you want. Then
Host fun. What are you talking about? H5, H4, Rook G8. White is going Knight D3 and trading off the knights. Next move. You don't got time for all this.
so Bishop D6, Knight D3, and now I want to play Knight G6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here it's a little abstract, but I'm just going to make the claim that your bishop is terrible, terrible. And if once you move the knight, I'll get something. I don't know. You know, even if you play B3, knight B2, you're going to be fine.
I think it's still winnable as long as the knights are on.
Yeah. Well, Joel is tanking here, which is good. He needs to tank on this one. And the bummer for him is, you know, the kid's on the West Coast, by the way, and Joel is on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that my mind would start shutting down right now. It is shutting down. It's shutting down. Yeah. Well, there it is. Yeah, I actually tell us what kind of stuff have you guys been streaming? It seems like did you guys do anything that you thought was especially like new and cool?
Let's see. We did the first Blitz Arena yesterday. That was fun.
Uh-huh.
That was like 90 minutes of folks playing 3+2.
Yeah, that seemed cool. Yeah.
And yeah, we just did some commentary on that. Some exciting games. I mean, he's definitely hoping for more of a turnout from like the Masters round robin. I feel like we only get one game of theirs like every week.
Right.
And then the rest are played at off times. But
let's at some point, Kosi, let's pull that up. I want you to keep talking about what you've been doing, but let's pull up the standings there.
Ooh, I'll try. I'm not sure I have a screen for it.
Yeah, you'd have to. You could create a separate scene or something, you know.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
And they're not playing games that fast, you know. They're just kind of taking it easy there. Sometimes actually, it's not sometimes. I know that not everybody is submitting their results. Oh, and a game actually that was very exciting was Mitch Fabian and Strong Chess, like, was it Friday night or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch, I thought, came out of the opening fine. I thought he was fine. And then he lost that thing.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
And maybe Mitch has got a little bit too much respect. He's played 4 games and just lost 1. The rest were draws. My other student, Sullivan, in there, he lost 1 to Fellman and then just hasn't even played anymore, at least according to this thing.
Yeah, he's got to get on it. Or maybe he just hasn't submitted the result.
Yeah. And Strong Chess is crushing, man. Look at that, 2 out of 2. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Quirked is running low on time. He's down to 15 minutes. He just played King F7.
Well, look at that. I mean, give Mitch some props. He found this King G1, Rook G3 thing. He did not play Rook C8, Rook F1. I like Rook G3 a lot in that it's preventing, what did he do? With Rook D1, he went passive.
Right.
And Black, we thought, had a chance to get out, to play like G5, G4 stuff. But now it looks like Knight C3 is coming, and to me, I don't know, Knight C3, that's just winning on this spot. I don't know. Isn't that winning?
It looks good for white. Knight c3, you said?
Yeah, knight c3. That's what he's gonna play it. There's no way. I mean, if he doesn't bring that knight out now, then I'm really gonna be upset at him. What do you, right? Isn't that the?
Yeah, how about rook d2?
Maybe he's afraid of rook d2. Okay, good. Good. It's weird though.
Do we go rook gd3?
Good move. But then he could start checking us to death.
Yeah, I go to e1.
I'm still checking you. No, I don't let you go to e1. I just check you to death.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just a drop.
He did play knight c3. And I definitely think you're right that rook d2 is the only real try. One dirty thing that we could do after rook d2, though, check this out. Here's a great move. How about after rook d2, we play rook e1? It's a star move, man. I like that one. Rook d2, rook e1. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, Bruce is saying rook f1. Totally possible. The bummer there is just that then black will play snip, and then rook takes d4 and have some drawing chances. Rook e1, the guy is like d2 can't move because the rook on f2 is hanging.
Oh, I think he meant without knight c3.
Oh, okay.
But still, yeah, black, yeah, maybe puts the rook on b2, and then if knight moves, rook d2. This is what is kind of annoying for us.
Mm-hmm. And just the general malaise of the white king is a problem here.
Alright, rook d2 played. I really like your rook e1.
Yeah, I like rook e1 a lot.
It's class.
I don't always play good moves, my friends, but rook e1. This is the benefit of having done a lot of endgame studies. This is a lot of endgame studies. Because a lot of themes in these studies is just that you're disturbing the force with the rooks. Like, they think they're so proud, but then they're actually getting caught up in their own discoordination.
Yeah. Hey, if you're not monkey, thanks for subscribing. 7-month streak. Super long.
Actually, before I overpraise this, hold on. Maybe there's a way. So let me grab the PGN and we'll talk about it. Rook e1 might not be as devastating as I thought.
Yeah, maybe rook f5?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So rook d2, rook e1, rook f5. Oh, but then we play knight b5 exclam. Right?
Knight b5. Nice.
Yeah, that's gotta be, and just in general, black's whole like initiative against our king is just slowly fading.
Okay, let's just say rook f6.
I'm definitely going to think about rook e3. Oh yeah, I like
h6.
Rook e7. King g8, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just got a lot of moves. I could, at some point, I'm going to take that on a7. Be a little careful about it.
And g5 also possible. I don't know if it makes huge difference.
I mean, this is bad news. We did have to be careful, like on rook a7, we just have to make sure that something like that doesn't end our party, right?
Yeah.
That's what we got to wonder about.
Right.
Even here, though, like, I'm not recommending this, but like, let's imagine rook e8 here and back. I'm gonna guess we're winning that one too. Right, the knight will do wonders. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Black can't do anything. And the knight can always, eventually, like, you're right, if you start doing this kind of thing, I still mess with you. Or I play knight e2 even in that position.
Yeah, rook e2.
Yeah. Rook rook e2 as well, yeah. But I wanted to keep the rook just so I didn't end the game with rook e7 later. Well, let's see. I mean, rook e1, if he plays rook e1, we're going to have to give him monster props. He is thinking about it. And I believe rook d2 is on the board, right? Or is that right?
Rook d2 on the board, yeah.
D2 is on the board. It's kind of like clear he is thinking about at least something, because the natural move would just be to swap on d2, right? And if he swaps on d2, what are we going to say about that position? Like, right, rook d2, this is our analysis board. If he were to swap and then just play the natural knight d5, no, of course he's still got great chances to win, but it's going to be a really close one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a slog. Real slog to win this one.
I sometimes wonder, you know, like some GMs like Yermolinsky, when I talk to him, they'll oftentimes just be like, they'll look at me like I'm an idiot and just be like, no, White's winning. Can't you understand? Can't you understand that it's all over? And maybe they're right. I don't know. It's just, at some point, right, the black pawns should, it's a question, right? If the black pawns actually do nothing, then maybe that attitude would be correct. But it seems like eventually he's going to play g5. He's at the very least going to trade off my h-pawn, and then what do I got?
Well, we just got to win the 8-pawn carefully, and...
This Joel game's going to a draw, my friend.
Yeah.
They traded off the knights, and... yeah. That's it.
These guys, I think, yeah, rook d8 must be played, otherwise rook d7. Super annoying.
Be a good game for us to... I get to go over it with both of them, you know? So I get to use my hard-won insights again and again.
Okay, Mitch thinking good. Not rushing in his opponent's time trouble. Drew Tuck, Rosewood, these guys are having some kind of mess. White just took on d3.
Oh, man.
And everything is hanging in the position. Feels like black should be doing pretty well here, but who knows?
Who knows? He's right, yeah.
So if rook d3, queen d3 threatens this very annoying check, so black would have to not do this. I think this would be just bad. Although you could think about playing queen takes h4 here. I think that is very possible.
Maybe insane, but yeah, possible.
If black doesn't take on d3 though, rook on d8 is kind of hanging. Knight on c2 is hanging. Black's other option would be like to start trading with queen takes d1. Then he probably loses a lot of his advantage that he had earlier, if he hasn't already lost it. So I don't know.
He did. Mitch did swap on d2.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that was nice. We wanted him to play rook e1.
I just meant like we're getting something we saw earlier, so it's kind of cool.
He did take on d5, and now we're gonna, yeah.
So we're gonna get this endgame. We'll see if White can actually win this one. Hey, hashtag chess. How's it going?
What's your intuition here in terms of how White should think about this position after rook d4? Like, should he be saying to himself that he's winning? What narrative should he be saying?
I feel like it's winning, but yeah, with just like very, very little margin of error.
All right, Kostya, let's do it, buddy. I'm gonna grab this. We're gonna play it out, buddy. We're gonna see.
Sure,
We predicted it.
I'll take either side.
You wanna? So wait, your sense is it's winning.
I think
I'll be black then.
I think it should be. Yeah.
I'm unsure. Okay, so yeah, play whatever you're gonna do. You definitely need a good move here. You need some real trickiness. You need to activate your king. Let's say that.
Okay, I'll start with giving this check.
All right, my mama said activity.
And I'll give this check.
I didn't anticipate that one.
I have an idea.
Okay, I believe you. Yeah. King e5.
I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
Check to your rook.
So the drama is that you're gonna play rook f7 someday. So I have to decide between the active seeming rook d2 and just rook d7 and then push the pawns. Oh, play rook d7 and push the pawns.
Alright, I'll go king f2.
g5.
Okay, let me give this check. I'll go here.
I'm just gonna push them.
Okay.
Maybe this is wrong. I don't know. I'm just pushing them.
All right. Check. Go here.
I have to admit, I don't know what you're doing, which makes me nervous, Kostya. It makes me nervous. I don't know what you're doing. All right, I'm going to play rook d5. I don't know.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to, like, control more squares. Let's see, rook d5. That's annoying.
It is true that it's very, I mean, now, maybe the moves, I'll just say for people out there, maybe the moves Kostya played were terrible. But it is, you can see that it's very difficult for black to do something cool with this pawns over there on the king side. They're really unwieldy.
Yeah.
But I'm dreaming still. And I am
Alright, go here.
guaranteed of trading one off, so okay.
Hey, Chess Chopin, thanks for following.
Alright, check to the miserable king. Which way do you go? He goes that way. Well, let's say check. Now, all I know is after my next move, you're gonna have to prove something here. Oh wait, maybe 96. I gotta be real careful on this one. Careful, Cry. Let's do this annoying move. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like that move. Eric and Joel got a draw. That's predicted.
Yeah, makes sense. Alright, let me go here.
King h5.
Here.
Rook e2 is also a thought.
Take. Take here.
Rook a2 maybe?
Yeah, shouldn't White be winning this?
What's that?
Shouldn't White be winning this?
I don't know. But it's going to be close. Like Rook a2, right? I don't know what else you're going to do.
I guess I was thinking like 93, but yeah, Rook A2 makes sense.
93 might be a good move, yeah.
I do like this one to play Rook B2.
Then h3.
Mm-hmm.
King h2 here. It's close.
No idea what's happening. At 93, I gotta harass this Rook. Here.
I think I achieved g3 now. If I achieve g3, that's the end. Not the end. Not that I'm winning. I'm just saying I don't think I'm going to lose if I achieve g3.
Yeah.
Okay, well
I have no idea.
Let's go look what happened. Let me pull it up. All kinds of things are going on now. I'm just going to copy the PGN again because there's just too much going on.
Got the same thing, except White is just kind of dancing around with his knight, which also makes sense actually. If his king and rook can just hold his pawns and his knight can go after like black's pawns, then he can get away with it. But I feel like black holds everything with rook d7 here, so it's very hard for White to really win anything with just the knight.
Okay, let's put this rook f7 move on the board.
Oh, rook
That's what you want,
f7.
right?
Oh, I was thinking like knight e8 might be his idea, but yeah, rook f7 might be possible too.
Well, okay, let me just say the bummer with rook f7 is then rook d3, and I'm going to win another pawn.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Gotta be real careful before doing that.
so knight e8?
Yeah. I mean, it's like rook d7, rook e7. It is kind of awkward for white too.
No, I don't like what he did, man. King e5 was the bold move that maybe he wasn't expecting too, because on the surface it allowed rook f7, but I mean, like we said, if I start winning those pawns, and let's say the other obvious thing, that the king is in that perfect distance from the knight, so the knight is actually getting dominated here.
Yeah.
And the white king is no bueno.
Yeah, a lot of things in black's favor. Yeah, like this line just feels...
Mitch, in general, you're going to rewatch this, and just I want to say again and again, in the end game, you need it's activity in the same way that you want the activity in the open.
Mm-hmm, right.
I assume there's some way for white to still play for an edge here, but oh, it's tough.
Hey, it looks like Rosewood won his game, and look at the final position here. I feel like I get some points for this one. We had rook d3, queen h4, queen d7, check, king takes f6. And white resigned. Which is actually kind of surprising.
He said, "I've had enough." It's probably true. It probably is true. You would have fought on. If I was playing Ghost Stick, he wouldn't have resigned against me.
Yeah, king on f6.
You got a king on f6.
Queen and knight.
At least, I play queen d3 and knight e4 or something.
Yeah. You can definitely pull some problems, but nice one for Rosewood. Pulls it out in the end. And so we're left with this endgame, Mitch versus Quirk. So I have experience. I drew an endgame very similar to this one against Shankland a little while back. And I was on the stronger side with the extra knight. And I was winning, but I just couldn't convert it. He traded everything off.
Where did you play Shankland?
This was several years ago, an open tournament, Bay Area. Was a nice game for me. I played pretty well to get a winning position, more or less. And then he sacked a piece. It's kind of murky. Got this end game. I'm like, okay, should be easy win. Though it wasn't. I mean, so unfair.
Yeah, my sense is that black is fine now. But it's going to be so hard because white has to do several things. He has to fix his knight. He has to bring this king in, and at the same time, he has to prevent black from trading pawns. Yeah. And in addition to h5 and g5, g4, you got to worry about a5, a4. That's a simple, dumb thing to worry about. And then if he achieves a4, that's completely game over.
Simple, yeah.
Bruce likes knight b5. Let's look at knight b5 then. Now, I did it on the wrong board again. Of course I did. So king e5, knight b5. And I think Ghost's intuition is just to play rook d7.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Can't be wrong. There might be some other tricky thing you could do just because the knight's so funky. But,
Who is the advantage if the rooks come off? My guess would be it becomes actually a lot easier for white without the rooks.
Yeah, the black rook is really pesky right now. And if the rooks come off, then it becomes a really concrete race.
Yeah.
Maybe king f2 now after rook d7?
Sure.
And at least after king f2, you're telling black, you're okay, buddy, what do you want? And for example, maybe black might play a6, and then I can then it'll be like helping me reroute the knight. The probably best move, I'm just going to go ahead and guess the best move is g5.
Mm-hmm.
And like we did in that sample variation, you start pushing, and the worst case scenario is you're going to play h5 g4 and trade off the g. Backrank Brawler is going to bed. It's soon bedtime for me too, Kostya.
Yeah, so I think we can think about finishing it up because, I mean, they're going to play it out, but we might not get huge action here. This is the live position after King F2 on the board. Nice.
Yeah.
But let's see, we can start plugging some stuff. There will be another Norm Hunter show tomorrow with Todd. Maybe look at his game with Mitch over the weekend. That'll be tomorrow. Then yeah, maybe I'll start joining you guys for Title Tuesday. Maybe it's time I got into to Blitz.
Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah, so and I'll do Title Tuesday. I'll have the Thursday Road Back to 2500 show, and then I'll be back with you next Sunday.
Nice. There will be more YouTube this week, guys. I promise I'm getting back into it. Gonna make some videos. Hey, we got Sombrero in the chat. Nice win, Sombrero. We just caught the end there.
And who should we raid here?
Oh, it's been decided. Vishnu he redeemed some channel points. He's guiding the raid to our buddy Josh Friedel. So,
but I don't see him up there. Is he up? Is he on right now?
Oh, is he streaming? He better be. I feel like he's always.
I don't see him up there.
We always raid him.
Otherwise, I felt like it would just not be a question.
I don't see him either.
Yeah.
Oh no, Vishnu, what happened?
Actually, that's an interesting question. Do you have some? Who are some of your favorite people to watch, Kostya?
Streamers?
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, if I'm going to be watching a stream, it'll probably be Chess24. Because they usually have, like, the highest level analysis.
Right. Okay.
I will watch streams for fun, like Speed Chess Championships and stuff like that. I like Danya as far as, like, the, let's say, the fun streamers go. I think Danya's amazing. Yeah. I like Gotham Chess as well. I'll watch Levy from time to time. That's always fun.
Levy's stream has been going pretty well recently.
He's been crushing it.
Kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. ChessCom events, what are they up to?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. I'll just see. Oh, Naroditsky is on the ChessCom events channel. He's covering the U.S. Chess Invitationals. Barber, Rockefeller. Well, that's cool. We can raid to Naroditsky doing some commentary.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Vishnu. We'll have to get Josh next time. He's just not streaming right now.
Oh, check this. I gotta give myself a little prop here. So as you guys might know, I wrote a chess novel ages ago, and I was happy with the experience. Anyways, some random lady, I shouldn't call them random, but it's someone I don't know, tweeted at me that they just discovered my writing and is reading aloud to it. Oh no, she's talking about the U.S. chess article, which I'm also happy about. But I wanted to. I thought she was talking about my chess. Okay, Kostya, I'm out of here, buddy. It was a great time. Hopefully, I'll see you on what? Tuesday.
Maybe Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Talk to you soon, Jesse. Take care.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. See you, everyone. We'll be raiding ChessCom events.